In this video, we are going to see about fabrication of a monolithic bipolar transistor. The fabrication of a monolithic transistor includes the following steps. The first one is epitaxial growth, second one oxidation, third one photolithography, fourth one isolation, fifth one base diffusion, sixth one emitter diffusion, and the last one is contact and aluminum metallization. Let us see one by one. The first one is epitaxial growth. The first step of transistor fabrication is collector region. Normally it requires a low resistivity path for the collector current, that is denoted by the symbol IC. The collector contact is normally taken at the top, thus increasing the collector series resistance and the collector to emitter voltage of the device. The buried N+ layer provides a low resistance path in the active collector region to the collector contact capital C. For fabricating an NPN transistor, begin with a P-type silicon substrate having a resistivity of typically 1 ohm centimeter. The N-type buried layer is diffused into the substrate. A slow diffusing material such as arsenic or antimony is used so that the buried layer will stay put during subsequent diffusions. Then an epitaxial layer of lightly doped N-silicon is grown on the P-type substrate by placing the wafer in the furnace at 1200 degrees Celsius and introducing a gas which contains phosphorus. So this is the resulting structure of epitaxial growth, which describes an epitaxial layer of the proper thickness and doping with high crystal quality. So next step is oxidation. So figure shows the thin layer of silicon dioxide, that is SiO2, is grown over the N-type layer by exposing the silicon wafer to an oxygen atmosphere at about 1000 degrees Celsius. So the next step is photolithography. By using photolithography in IC manufacturing is to selectively etch or remove the SiO2 layer. So figure shows the masking and the expose of UV rays, and the second figure shows the selective opening of silicon dioxide layer. As shown in figure, the surface of the oxide is covered with a thin uniform layer of photosensitive emulsion. The mask, a black and white negative of the required pattern, is placed over the structure. When we exposing UV lights, the radiation travels through the transparent portion only, while the other portion blocks the radiation. The mask is then removed and the wafer is treated chemically that removes the unexposed portion of the photoresist film. The polymerized region is cured so that it becomes resistant, no corrosion. Then the chip is dipped into a solution of hydrofluoric acid which removed the oxide layer not protected by the polymerized photoresist. This creates openings in the SiO2 layer through which P-type or N-type impurities can be diffused. So next step is isolation. IC contains many devices, as already know. Since a number of devices are to be fabricated on the same IC chip, it becomes necessary to provide good isolation between various components and their interconnections. In PN junction isolation technique, the P plus type impurities are selectively diffused into the N-type epitaxial layer so that it touches the P-type substrate at the bottom. This method generates N-type isolation regions surrounded by the P-type modes. So next one is base diffusion. So figure shows the base diffusion structure. The base formation is a critical step in the construction of bipolar transistor. The base must be aligned so that during diffusion it does not come into contact with either the isolation region or the buried layer. The value of these resistors depends on the diffusion conditions. The base width influence the transistor parameters very strongly. Therefore, the base junction depth and resistivity must be controlled. The base sheet resistivity should be fairly high, which is in the range of 200 to 500 ohm per square, so that the base does not inject carriers into the emitter. The next step is emitter diffusion. It is the last step in the fabrication of the transistor. The emitter opening must lie within the base. Emitter making not only opens windows for the emitter but also for the contact point, which provides a low resistivity ohmic contact path for the emitter terminal, which is denoted by the symbol capital E. The emitter diffusion is normally a heavy N-type diffusion producing into the base. The N-type emitter region of the transistor diffused into the P-type base region is shown in the figure. The emitter diffusion is normally a heavy N-type diffusion, as already told, producing low resistivity layer that can inject charge easily into the base region. A phosphorus source is commonly used so that diffusion time, that is ID, shortened. The last one is contact and metallization. So after the fabrication of emitter, windows are etched into the N-type regions where contacts are to be made for collector and emitter terminals. Heavily concentrated phosphorus, that is N plus dopant, is diffused into these regions simultaneously, and the metal leads are to be formed for making connections with the terminal of the device. Aluminium being a good conductor used for interconnection, already we know that. So aluminium is deposited over entire wafer by vacuum deposition. The thickness for single layer metal is around 1 micrometer. Metallization is carried out by evaporating aluminium over the entire surface and then selectively etching away aluminium to leave behind the desired interconnection and bonding parts. Metallization is done for making interconnection between the various components fabricated in a single IC and providing bonding pads around the circumference of the IC chip. So this is the structure of metallization process. Thank you.